Good evening and a very warm welcome to First Issues. The increasing importance of non-communicable diseases has caused them to no longer be viewed as simply a health issue, but rather a development one, worthy of discussion at a high-level meeting at the 66th General Assembly of the United Nations. Why, you may ask? That is because of the 38 million people who died from NCDs in 2014, 40% of them were premature. Those are valuable, productive lives of people under the age of 70. By NCDs, we mean illnesses that people have wrongly come to accept as part and parcel of aging in modern societies. That is your heart diseases, high blood pressure, diabetes, and others. They are the leading cause of death globally. The most devastating fact of all is that a majority of these deaths are preventable, as they mainly result from the damage we do to our own bodies. Leading us to the topic of our conversation this evening, a preventative and holistic approach to health in the form of naturopathy. A discipline that says that you are the cause of your illness and that the body heals itself. Health is not just a concern at the macro planning level, but the impact of poor health and illness is felt by everyday business entities and people as well. Lost productivity from illness costs the US economy some $227 billion a year, according to a 2013 report from the Integrated Benefits Institute, a health and productivity research organization in San Francisco. Figures from neighboring South Africa that year also showed that 3.96 million workers were absent due to sickness during the year, compared to just 700,000 in the year 2000. An increase of 466% that is costing the country billions, despite the fact that the number of people employed was essentially flat over the decade. The true cost of these lost work days is difficult to calculate, however, as the pressures put on the national health budget and medical aid schemes, as well as intangible costs and so forth, could also be factored in. We're talking about children in classrooms without teachers, services to business either disrupted or slowed down, turnaround times and deadlines being missed, and projects being prolonged and possibly going over budget when people are absent as a result of poor health. Our guest this evening is a woman we interviewed here on First Issues 3 years ago, when she had just returned to Botswana to set up her practice. Tebogo Bagopi van Nieuwenhuizen told us then that in these times when our lives are increasingly out of whack, our main problem is that we don't even understand the workings of our own bodies, and that modern medicine is largely reactive, treating symptoms and illnesses and often overlooking the true causes of these life-threatening and economy-crippling diseases.
There are main two principles that we address as naturopaths. The first one is we cause our own diseases without knowing. This is what I address, and as you eliminate that cause, you start healing. And this is how I am able to help, the people who have been telling you and sharing their stories with you. And the second principle that I work on as a naturopath is that the body heals itself. How does the body heal itself? I'll give an example of high blood pressure. There's so much that we do not know, what the body does. It's incredible. As you go to urinate, the body is actually regulating itself. It's actually reducing the pressure, that it is in your body, the volume, the blood volume, or even water, if you like, that is causing that pressure. So every time you go and urinate, the body is reducing that pressure. It's actually healing itself all the time. So if you are not urinating, it means that your volume, water volume, it's lower. So you don't urinate, okay? So this is actually what we go through without knowing, And this is what we do as naturopaths. knowing that the body heals itself. This is what we embrace. This is what we support. We know that, you know, you are urinating all the time. As we look at your hypertension, if you have high blood pressure, that's what we focus on, what the body does naturally. That's what we support as naturopaths.
I'm sure a part of the problem is that there are many skeptics about the effectiveness and scientific soundness of naturopathy. What would you say to the skeptics? How do you win them over?
Okay, I'll give an example of one patient. I used to live in Rwanda. I remember I had this patient, and she suffered from chronic cough. She was coughing and coughing all the time. She was sick for more than 20 years. She told me, I think she was about 38 years old when she came to me, and she started coughing when she was 11 years old. So when she came to me, I was able, within 2 weeks, you know, she was okay. She didn't cough anymore. So she came to me. She was highly religious, this woman. And she came to me and asked me, but how does your medicine work? How were you able to help me when I have been struggling in my life? So she said, are you working? Are you spiritual? You know, all these kinds of questions that people do not understand. You know, when you help them, what is really helping them? So I said to her, but I took the journey with you. You know, there was no mystery. I was working with you. You know exactly what I did. You know, I massaged, I applied acupuncture, I gave you herbs, I gave you supplements, you changed your diet a lot, and you did cleansing. You know, I took the journey with you, so there is no mystery. It's just commitment, you know, of your lifestyle. You change your lifestyle. You understand your mind better. You understand the connection between the body and mind better, you know, than before. And that's what made the difference. Because most of the time we do not understand ourselves. We do not understand who we are. You know, that's exactly what I did.
That must be a frequently asked question. How does massage and some herbs help you heal? How do you explain how what you do affects the body?
You know, the body is amazing. You know, the body is extremely, I have learned so much about the body and the mind and the environment that you live in. I touch, I feel my patients as they have explained. So, you know, you can have whatever ailment. You can suffer from any ailment. The problem is, you know, what many therapies or, you know, whatever they neglect is, you know, the actual working, the functioning of the body, something like circulation, your digestive system, your nervous system, your elimination system. This is what, as naturopaths, we address, we focus on. Most of the time you find that, you know, circulation, blood is not flowing as it should. And as I palpate the body and, you know, looking for where the blockage is, it's really like a river. If you have a river and then you throw garbage in the river, there will be a blockage there. How to find that blockage and, you know, massage where the main problem is. Fortunately, I was trained and I'm able to know, you know, by doing, you know, what Chinese diagnosis and examination. We use the tongue diagnosis. We use the pulse. The pulse is extremely important for us. This is what we actually determines your health. So as I palpate, I can feel that there's no pulse somewhere in the body. I know exactly how to find it after looking at your tongue, and I'm able to resolve what has been sitting there for many years. And, you know, this is how I help many people.
According to our guest, naturopathy medicines, like the practice itself, are holistic. As being herbal, they contain more active agents than the refined drugs used in conventional medicine.
With herbs, the way they work, I'll give an example of, a drug. How a drug is actually manufactured. They take a herb, and then a herb contains several chemicals. So they take the main chemical, the main chemical in that herb, and they isolate it and then make a drug out of it, as opposed to naturopathic or herbal therapy. We take the whole herb. So this herb, as it contains all the chemicals, not only one main ingredient, but it contains several chemicals which, are natural, and they work naturally with the body. So you will find that, for an example, St. John's, which is prescribed for depression. So the St. John's does not only work for psychology, it contains some properties that work with like wound healing, for an example. Also antiviral. It's antiviral. So there are lots of properties in one herb. That's how herbs are different from drugs, and that's how they work, because they work holistically. They don't only do one action that a drug will do, for an example.
Welcome back to First Issues as we continue to discuss a holistic approach to health called naturopathy with the help of local practitioner Tebogo Bahupi van Nieuwenhuizen and some of her patients. As mentioned at the beginning of our program, poor health has a major impact on productivity, rippling out from your office desk to the wider economy. South Africa's Mail and Guardian once reported that in the last decade, their economy has lost 55.2 billion rand due to sickness. Keletso Mfolwe, mother of two and a procurement officer within government, tells us how naturopathy has been instrumental in treating her psoriasis.
I tell my colleague, hey, I have this condition. Ke molela gore hey my scalp khona ke te kya shaka hateng and ga go hole ke tswa ngakeng ebile ke boetse ngakeng so ba nthare ke eng sa le ke o Tebogo itse ba mpha di number tsa ga Tebogo then be ke mo calla made an appointment be ke tla go go ene ke tsena ke molela gore this is my condition ba nthare hey kopa gore gona hela anonyana we mise the medication that you're taking. Medication I think it nearly the herb, and then because I was feeling a bit depressed because keeps are as you can see, of course when I let just a little bit or something how is it, but every day I see progress. So I have my hair back and I can that disease.
Utimile, a 45-year-old businessman and father of two, after heeding his wife's sage advice, is also one of Tebogo's loyal clients.
On top of that, hypertension. High blood. Making a katsamaya mahelo a mantsi ke ne ka hela ke tsena mo medication wa high blood. Tota my wife abang ang khothatsa gore why can't we just try this? Ke be ke etela mo clinicing ena go ta go thathubiwa. Me ka ba marura ke tsana ke ithela gore my blood pressure ne le go godimo. It was ranging around 140, 150, 160. Me ka tswela le treatment me I continue ka go nwa melemo ka tswela ke nwa melemo ka bana ke nna botoka, and on top of that gape o na le nahatsi ang counselor a mpolela ka ke tshwantse gore ke manage botshelo ba me ka teng. Re ka di mabaka a harologaneng, stress gore ka kgona go manage stress ka tsela e ntseng jang, mme ka tswelela le ene, mme botshelo ba ka ba tokafala.
71-year-old Ditlhare Mulutsi suffered from chest complications after having worked with textiles for 36 years. She also tells us of her experience with this alternative approach to medicine.
Family mo nna e mpha ka enwa go tlile gore nako nngwe go le bosigo ke ikutlwa ke nketse ke a gotlhola ke be ke tsoga ke a go tsaya di-tissue ke di baba ke gore ga ke la ditse tlhogo mo motsamong jaana sehuba se tswa o itse gore se tswa mo nkete ke a gotlhola mme ke sa gotlhola se tswa ke gore ke nila masigo a mararo ko ntse bogale sehuba se mo mafatlheng a rona ma a tletse mathata o itse gore ke te motho na fala pitsana hela o itse gore pitsana e tlhakane le maboa maboa ke te go ra gore maboa ale a matsela a na blokile mo mafatlheng a me ka gore ngaka nna kila nthare mme ene ngaka nna se sho nna kila nthare mma Molutsi ke be ke re rare o bereka mo go eng kare ke bereka mo go rokwang teng a ba re mme ke kopa gore o tlogele go bereka mo fo berekang teng ka gore ha ke go lebile yana mafatlha a gago side e nngwe ga a nna sentle ga ka ba tswelela ka go bereka ko berekang teng botshelo ba gago bo tla fela ka bona gore mme monna o le tota o na bua boammaruri mme hela ne ba sa kgone go nthusa.
Our final testimony is from Tlamelo Kilibile, wife and quality assurance director at one of our local tertiary institutions, who says that naturopathy treatments gave her a new lease on life.
I have endometriosis. Endometriosis is a condition whereby the tissue that is normally found in the uterus grows outside the uterus. And because it's where it shouldn't be, it causes a lot of pain, adhesions and scarring. And other things such as depression come along, fatigue. I've been struggling with it since 2007. And after trying so many things, conventional medicine, surgeries, I tried artificial hormonal therapies, which are very aggressive on the body. They can cause a lot of side effects. And because endometriosis has no cure, I found it important for me to find other things that could help me. At the time, she was operating somewhere in Metsimotlabe. I went there, we had a consultation, and I explained to her what my condition was. She asked me a lot of questions. She asked a lot of questions to really get to the root of the problem. I explained, and she said, I think I can help you. But you have to understand that when I deal with you, I want to address the root cause of the problem. I liked that because most of conventional doctors, they only deal with side effects.
Thank you so much for tuning in, and whether you're still a skeptic or not, I'm sure we can all agree that a more integrated and holistic approach to medicine could be beneficial for all. We look forward to reading your thought-provoking comments on tonight's episode. Up next, we consider what possible benefits yoga could have for the corporate world. Welcome back to First Issues. As in keeping with our exploration of the economic contribution of alternative therapies, we now turn our attention to yoga. Yoga is described as an ancient physical, mental, and spiritual practice that originated in India. The word yoga derives from Sanskrit and means to join or unite, symbolizing the union of body and consciousness. Companies such as Nike, HBO, Forbes, Procter & Gamble, Google, AOL Time Warner, and scores more Fortune 500 companies consider yoga important enough to offer classes as a regular employee benefit. Should you consider doing the same? Pauline Sibina from Art of Living Center in Gaborone seems to think so.
You know, the work life
requires a focused mind, it requires creativity, and it requires somebody who's really on the go, who's ready to receive customers, with a smile and all that. And when you have stress, you are not able to do that to the best of your ability. And that's where now yoga comes in. Because yoga, as we grow up, we pick up tension, stress, we get out of alignment. And that affects our ability to perform. So when you do yoga, it gets that into a good balance or synchronicity. Like a guitar, when it's out of tune, you'd close your ears. You don't want to listen to the music that comes from that. So it's the same thing as the body. So yoga tunes up the body, takes off the stress, and then it brings out the productivity in a corporate person. So that's where it'll really, really complement the corporate life.
Are these benefits quantifiable? Is there evidence you can point to that is directly linked to yoga?
Yeah, actually, at a very simple level, I would say our yoga, type of yoga that we do in Art of Living, also involves a lot of breathing. So as you breathe, you bring in more oxygen to the body. And you know very well that when you are seriously unwell, the first thing you get when you get to a hospital, you get an oxygen mask. And I can tell you, as you do regularly yoga, you can even check the level of oxygen in your body. And if it gets to about 98%, it's almost 100%. I once got mine checked and it was at 98%. The lady was so surprised, just, what do you do? I said, yeah, I do yoga. So as you breathe and you do these exercises regularly, oxygen energizes the body and as well as cleanses the body. So it energizes and also detoxes the body. So health-wise, then it means you will also benefit health-wise. It improves on the blood circulation. I think there's a lot of activity lately by the Minister of Youth as well as the Minister of Health to really bring the nation's awareness to looking after ourselves.
Thank you for joining us once again this evening. In closing, we now announce this week's winner for the best comment from last week's program. You may recall that we talked about the less obvious benefits of the West Bank International Air Show, as well as explored some corporate social responsibility theories. Chashingwa Lwani texted the following. Mo thulaganyong ya tsatsi jeno ke ratile karolo ya mme wa social worker Opeluni Chenge fa ne a bua ka go tlhokomela bana ba ba tlhokileng lesego mo setšhabeng. O ne a supa lerato le bopelotelele mo tirong ya gagwe. Congratulations, Chashingwa. Expect your first issue's goodies very soon. The rest of you can send your questions, comments, and quips about tonight's program to either our SMS line or any of our social media platforms to stand a chance to win. Catch us next week, same time, same place, for another issue of interest.